All systems have been alerted to your presence, sir.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
I hope you know what you're doing.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the San Diego Comic-Con 2024 mega crossover with the Sarlacc Digest ToyChest and Shadow Nose Network. Welcome, guys. Look at this. A full house. A full house.
What?
This is amazing.
It's like the Brady Bunch.
It is. I was waiting for who was going to be that center one that's just going to be looking at people, and we'll get there. We'll get there. Of course, we are recording this on the Friday of Comic-Con, which is the 26th of July, and we're going to be starting here. And about 7 o'clock, we're going to go over to the Shadow Nose Network for the Pixels, Plastic, and Ink second half of this, and we're going to continue this awesome 2-hour talk all about Comic-Con and what's been happening this couple of days, and what can we be expecting for the conclusion of this Comic-Con. So before we get into all that, I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo here.
What's up, nerds?
And of course, from the Shadow Nose Networks, we got the famous Chet Maddox.
Howdy, howdy.
We've got Rad.
Hello.
Miss Dr. Brantley.
Hello. Mr. Dr. Brantley.
Mr. That. I always say,
Mr. Doctor. Doctor,
it's a beard thing. You see a guy with a beard, he's it's like respect.
It's just a Mr. instantly.
And Alexander Storm.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Awesome. We've got Matt Logic checking in with us. We are waiting for more people. Of course, there's going to be a lot of people that are still walking the floor at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
They're drinking it up and everything. So if you guys were at Comic-Con and are checking us out, hey guys, we're in air conditioned. Haha. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Exactly. Exactly.
So a lot of stuff has been happening. A lot of drops. I don't know about you guys, but I'm broke. I'm broke already. Like Scott's been finding things in the store, and I'm telling him though I have to start picking and choosing. Like, guys, I don't know what I could do. I have pre-orders. I've got stuff that's happening. We've got exclusives that are happening probably Monday, right? We'll get into that in a minute when those are going to drop. It's just crazy. Now, getting back, like, I think Comic-Con's getting a little bit normal, going back to the normal days, right? Where they would have on-floor toys that you would pick up and bring home. And then now they've gotten to the digital too, where they're going to have the same kind of opportunity for people who are not there. So that's kind of fun, right? It's not that fear of missing out thing where it's like,
it's a callback to the before times, before COVID shut everything down and made manufacturing difficult, right? That's when everything went digital and pre-orders started happening. This is back to those old days. We could actually go to the floor, spend a buttload of money, and walk out with. Like I walked out once with a big Millennium Falcon, a gigantic Millennium Falcon I bought at Comic-Con. Try carrying that shit around for an entire day.
Several trips to your trunk of the car when you could park. You know what I mean? I don't know. When's the last time you guys went? Like, what mine was like.
Mine was
I don't know,
2000. Mine was 2019.
Oh wow, recent. So more recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was the last time that I went to was 2019, and that was right before, because I think they had 2 years where they did the virtual one, right?
Yes.
2020 and 2021, if I wasn't mistaken. So yeah, that was the last time I went, was 2019 as well.
Wow.
2017 for me. It's been 2017. Yeah.
I haven't been since 2012.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
Whoa.
we call that the 2012 incident. There's a reason why.
You know, I do.
Oh, there's a story.
There's a story.
There's stories. I do miss the smell of sweaty cosplay outfits right around this time, the 6 p.m. Friday nights.
Were you trying to find a place to eat, but you can't because all the nerds smelled up? I think I enjoy the floor, but I think over the years that I've gotten used to being able to either get in early or at like the morning time. And then in 2019 when I went, like I couldn't get in early, and then I tried to walk the floor, and it was like I think you should go to Comic-Con with a giant backpack full of deodorant and just hand it out to just hand it out to the nerds and be like, "Come on, go touch grass,
rub it on your arms, and then it's almost like a car wash, right?
You're
just
their armpits.
You're doing them.
The most famous there's so many different stories, but as we're talking about cosplay, I remember going into the bathroom. And it could have either been Batman or Darth Vader. Someone was taking, they were going to the restroom, and the cape was hung over the stall door.
I
appreciate the efforts of protecting, whoever that was.
But well, you can tell, was it a scalloped cape or was it a straight cape?
Exactly. I mean, there's some specific details there.
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't paying that close attention to that.
Trying to get the hell out. But I do miss. I haven't been. I think I haven't gone since about 2012 or 2015, something like that. And the last time I went was when people were camping out for that Hall H, and I forgot what date it was when Metallica was there, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this no more. I can't enjoy it. It's too much. My anxiety level's out the roof. And I think I walked the floor. I didn't spend anything because I just couldn't find it. It was just a weird kind of
you couldn't get in line to get anything.
Nothing. I couldn't enjoy anything like panel wise. There was really nothing on the floor.
My wife and I, we would go, and we started going in 97, and whenever she got tired, she'd go just walk into Hall H, take a seat, watch whatever was happening on screen, and I'd meet up with her eventually, right? And it got to the point where you just can't do that shit anymore. It's just
but at the same time, the more I'm away from it, the more I miss. I am starting to miss it. I know once I go back, I'm like, okay, let's get out of here, let's go home. But
but I don't know. I mean, I think it's good to miss it. But here's the problem: is that if you think about when you first started going, like it was a little different. You were younger. Obviously, none of us have gone when we're older. That doesn't effing exist. But it was younger. Finances were different.
Yes.
You were like struggling to figure it out. Now it's like, if I want to go, it's like I'm fine committing to whatever the $43,000 for 2 nights in Hilton is, and then because it's a different experience at Comic-Con when you go and your hotel is like right there. The problem is that they keep all that stuff and they police it for everybody, and then it makes it a little bit makes it a little bit unfun. But when you go back and you do it that way, where you've put effort into relaxation over Hall H and stuff, it's a way different experience.
I can totally understand that. You're going in with a different mindset, like, look, I know what this is, I'm going to do these things and avoid these, versus like when we were all going at the young age, it was like, what is this? Because when I first went, I didn't know anything like this existed, and my friend brought me there. I was like only 18, and I was like, what is this? It's like heaven. Everything opened up. I got to meet Star Wars actors, like David Prowse and Anthony Daniels, and they were all there. And I was just like, this is the amazing. I went with zero money because I didn't know what to expect. I think tickets at that time were like $20, it wasn't even that much, and the next year I went, I had money, I was like prepared, and then I got word like no Star Wars guys were there because they're something about contracts or whatever. So I was walking around the whole thing like, this sucks, I hate this place and everything, and so I was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. But then because I love Rob Zombie, right? So then I heard he was walking around, so I was like, okay, my goal is to find him. So, and I did, and I bugged him for a picture and all that, and yeah. So, but then after that, at Comic-Con became like a staple where I'd get up from here for like 4 a.m, drive down, get there really fast, like 6, because it only takes like a couple hours to get to San Diego from here. So I'd be there. We go to Denny's, eat, and then stand in line, and it was just like one of those things, man. Like that was our vacation, something to look forward to so much. So, I'm really happy that it's still around and kicking and getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Do you guys remember whenever?
Sorry, I just want to shout. And no one watches already except us. We watch it
already.
We do. So, do you guys remember whenever you could actually sit down in the floor of the lobby of San Diego at the convention center with the clipboard and your pencil, and you could fill in your registration for the next year?
For the next year, yeah.
We did it in line while we were doing, like, in the early days, it would be that long line that snaked around.
Yeah.
And you were just outside and they were handing you sheets. And it's like, you want to come next year? And it's like, yeah, it was like, I don't know, my address is going to be next year, but yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I remember,
great,
man.
Yeah.
I remember when you would walk around outside the convention, all of these restaurants and coffee shops were bought out and they were themed out by, NBC Universal or whatever. So it would be FX. Like you'd walk in and it was like a variety of different things. FX spent a hell of a lot of money on different things. And I remember, Cartoon Network. I don't know if they're still doing that now because it's been several years, but it sounds like they've invested a hell of a lot more money on marketing. The buses driving by with all of the different things. And that's cool, right? Because that puts revenue back into the convention. Yeah. But yeah. And speaking of sitting on the floor, can you even find a space to sit anymore? I mean, I remember
you're not allowed to. The fire marshal's like, no sitting, no standing, just keep walking.
It's just packed, right?
Well, speaking of that, I mean, so next year, San Diego's contract is up. Or the Comic-Con for the city of San Diego expires in 2025. And every time that happens, there's this big talk, right? Are they going to move? I want to move. And then all these cities start petitioning. But now it's actually, I heard, again, I was watching, I wish I can remember the guy that was watching the podcast, because he made some really good points. And he was kind of pointing at, like, San Diego, the Comic-Con can be considering moving because of the city of San Diego, and everybody and all the businesses around there gouging the people so much that they're getting kind of worried about it. And so they might threaten to leave, because if you've got $1,000 hotels, I mean, 5 miles down the road and everything's sky high, it's getting to the point where it's tainting the name of the Comic-Con, right? Even more than it is because it's busted out of the whole thing.
And then people can't afford to go buy things. They can't. You can't afford to eat.
Right.
You can't afford.
Vendors hurt.
Yeah.
And one of the big pushers that I've been hearing as rumored wise is because they're going to start making this push for it is Las Vegas. So Las Vegas really, really, really wants Comic-Con to come there. Anaheim did for a long time, right? They did for a long time, and then but I don't think Anaheim's big enough.
I think not even close.
Yeah, right. I think if they do it, it's Los Angeles is a little better. Vegas is more, there's too much distractionary point. If you think there is the money in San Diego, wait till somebody starts hitting the casinos down there. You just because that's a addictive quality. When you got some money that night, you're up in everything. You can drink 24 hours a day. You can gamble 24 hours a day. Imagine you really talking about gouging.
You need to stop selling me on this. This is worth
but we did a convention there in Las Vegas, and it wasn't, of course, as big as Comic-Con whatsoever, but it was freaking packed, and people were spending money hand over fist, and it was a massive convention center. It was way bigger than it had to be, than it should have been. But man, we had the celebrities there.
There's a couple key points that Vegas does offer that San Diego doesn't. It's like San Diego times 10 because of the restaurants, the hotel, the parking, the transportation, everything's there. And Vegas is actually, you could probably put 100,000 people in Vegas at any given point, along with a football game going on, and you wouldn't notice that much of a difference as far as like it's a little crowded, just like last week. It doesn't matter. I mean, they have the capacity. That's what I was kind of like leaning towards. I know, like, especially if they do it, the downfall is doing it in the middle of the summer, right?
Yeah,
exactly. I would want them to move it up to like April.
Well, it is and it isn't though, because if you go to Vegas now, like Vegas is you can mostly walk through every hotel on both sides without having to go outside.
That's true too, and they got that monorail that goes to the convention center. I mean, really, Vegas has really put the money into that mecca, or the convention capital of the world.
And there's like 4 different convention centers too.
So
you've got your.
So I mean, like, there's some, like I said, some enticing, very, very enticing elements. And again, I think the only thing that we would miss if they did would be the nostalgia of going to San Diego and having those sites that we see. Because I like sitting in the marina and eating, and doing stuff. But I did it, right. Like I was like, did it. I'm not, if I don't do it again, it's cool. If we move it to a different place, I might be cool, because then it might be able to accommodate all the people that want to go and they can't. We don't have to do this lottery system anymore.
You won't have to have a certain number of people. It could be anyone who wants to go can go.
Yeah,
and you can find a hotel in your price range anywhere.
Yes.
I think we're forgetting about the most important point, which is you get to see a Jawa at a slot machine. You know what I mean? Like that.
That's right.
It's bad. It's like,
that's what I want to see.
That's right. And like Alex's play, it's like you go there, win, go to Comic-Con. Nice bust of Darth Vader just taking them. Oh yeah.
Well, there's gonna be a lot of that.
Here's the only thing that I would say, and having a young daughter is like, it's a little difficult to take in the Vegas to take the kids, right? Like that could be a thing. And San Diego's not super ideal downtown. There's some interesting characters down there. LA too. But I would say
circus, you're fine.
But I think overwhelmingly though, the hotel inventory, that makes the most sense.
Yes. Like I said, they will be able to accommodate.
It becomes so much more affordable. Like you're not getting gouged staying at the Motel 6 for $800.
And that's a big key that Vegas is pushing the Comic-Con to do. And again, next year their contract is up. But we heard this before where they were already upset with the city of San Diego, and they threatened to pull out. And then San Diego made a deal with them. But now it's coming back around again.
Here's the reason why I don't think Vegas is a contention, just on one aspect. They're so heavy into Hollywood now. And it's like Las Vegas is like going down to San Diego, because you've got to fly in all the people, all your celebrities and everything. The studios would probably try to push them towards LA, because then it's like you're taking things from Burbank, you're taking people fly into LAX and everything. You're not spending like
that's
in an isolated area.
Like Comic-Con.
So that's why I kind of think it's LA's probably a better suitor, and I think the studios will push them for LA.
Yeah, you're right, because they got Hollywood. Comic-Con got Hollywood. It's not a Comic-Con anymore. But
LA does have. I mean, it's got the proximity, but it doesn't have the infrastructure.
Yeah, I don't think
infrastructure's not there for the number of people, which Las Vegas is built for that. Las Vegas does have the infrastructure. It's got the like we were saying, the public transportation. You've got so many different convention centers to choose from. There's also, they've been doing a lot of, my best friend lives in Las Vegas. We go out there all the time.
We crashed at your friend's house.
Yeah.
All of us.
Let's do it.
Already
it's a big house. We can do it. They've been doing a push also for more family events there, family friendly events and family friendly things to do in Vegas too. So I see it as a win-win, except for the 123-degree heat outside.
Well, they're gonna have to definitely push it up to before, like in end of spring or early fall, right?
I don't think they would push it from their dates, though, man. I think that would be tough. I think they're because San Diego, the international organization, runs this very kind of hard-headed on that kind of scenario, and I don't think they would change it. And then also we've got to structure in if the A's, or however this is working out,
right,
move into, because I know they tore down the Tropicana and everything, so you're going to have baseball going on at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. But Vegas can handle.
It's going to be crazy down there.
Like, they got that F1 race too.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I was telling you guys
that.
This isn't any inside information, but how many we've been hearing this for 15 years that they're going to move. They're going to move.
Yeah.
You know how things work.
Yeah.
And people get paid under the table to stay in San Diego. And my gut tells me they're staying in San Diego. It hasn't changed. It's 150,000, 200,000 people in attendance, and they're still in San Diego. I would be incredibly surprised if they moved. And if they did,
I would be too. I would be too. You know, let me check in with the chat here real fast. Obi, once you go in, is checking in. People say that they're considering making the baseball card a national convention permanently in Chicago. I wonder if Comic-Con will consider Chicago. Chicago is interesting too because they're, to me, and I've never been there, but I hear a lot. It's almost like a sleeping giant of capacity when it comes to conventions. You know, like Star Wars Celebration goes there, right? It's been in Chicago. It might be something where, you know, I'm surprised. I think does Chicago even have? Do they have their own Comic-Con? Or like New York Comic-Con has theirs.
Maybe they have one. I think there's
they have their own Comic-Con.
Okay.
Okay. I thought they did have it.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to kind of explore that. Yeah, because we always say Vegas because Vegas is like I said, convention mecca. You know,
and it's also really close for us too. It's
just
for us to get to
right there. Yeah. So we're kind of.
No One Watches already has probably the worst idea known to mankind.
Oh, no. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And it's but he did Comic-Con in Vegas are pretty dope and could be more of a festival than a convention given a location.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I do agree with Alex when you say, like, you know, it's basically Comic-Con is owned by Hollywood at this point, meaning the you know, the money that takes back, you know, switches hands. Crooked Smile checking in.
What's going on?
Okay. So No One Watches already. Another alternative I can see happening is that Disney is buying up Comic-Con and hosting it at their parks.
Oh God, no.
They are. Well, they have their D23.
Yeah, they do.
They've got their Star Wars celebrations, and I'm waiting for like I thought at the Marvel's heyday, like when it was really peaking, I thought Marvel was going to have their own touring celebrations, but you know,
and if you see the prices on that D23, if Disney gets a hold of that, you think you're talking about price gouging now?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Like we won't even be able to get into Comic-Con anymore without like at least putting down payments down.
We're looking at, we're looking at this stuff as a fan point of view, as our ease.
Yeah.
We want to get back. We want to be the accommodation of, like I said, transportation, housing, everything else. And they're looking at like, look, we've got 100,000 people coming here. We're good. They don't even want to expand at this point, you know?
Sure.
No One Watches already. It's Comic-Con, however, brings in a lot of money to San Diego. Apart from the zoo and beaches, San Diego hasn't gotten the attractions of LA and Vegas. Comic-Con is what makes San Diego so special, especially to all of us. It is the Olympics every year where we go and just kind of like make plans and hang out. It is really cool. And I would, like I said, for the nostalgia part of me, I would be kind of a little bit hurt that if it did move and it was a different change of scenery, but at the same time, if it was easier for a lot more people to get in, go and stuff, I might be for that now. If you asked me 20 years ago, I probably said, no, it's gotta be San Diego. Cause I love San Diego.
San Diego was great 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Because I was working on the documentary for this Comic-Con. The local economy takes in about $180 million over this 5-day stretch.
Yes.
So that's going to be difficult for them to give up.
Yeah. No Shamu or Killer Whales can help.
No, not in 4 days, right? Yeah. You're not going to get that kind of revenue in 4 days.
Although Vegas is so big, they could just move Shamu there.
But if you think about it, though, like they could also take the WrestleMania approach. Right, because every time WrestleMania is in a city, it pulls in a lot of money for the city. So you always have people like vying for it. I don't
almost
think
like
it would ever
touring Comic-Con.
Yeah. Like I don't think it would get to that point because there's so many people that just are continuous for it. But if you think about it, if it's big enough, it makes sense in any city. If the city's willing to accommodate for it, you could do Comic-Con in Texas. Texas has the room. But
and that's what I'm surprised on is like there's been so many different variations of Comic Cons, and some that are no longer exist. You got the LA Comic and you got them all over. I'm surprised there hasn't been a really like big competitor to San Diego, Like
Wizard tried it and lost.
You'd be surprised, but I'm just thinking, like, couldn't somebody, you see now the popularity, you put the investment in it and host it in another state, and you could compete, but there's no rivals, right? There's always going to be a really secondary convention,
right? Yeah. Even if
there's a market, yeah.
Well, even LA Comic-Con is minuscule compared.
Yes.
So real fast, everybody in the chat, we're going to do something really cool right now because I know there's only a few of you, and this is the privilege of being live with us. I'm going to throw you guys a trivia question, and you're going to win. Scott, what are they going to win?
You are going to win
a free chat message.
Right. This is a Star Wars Adventures comic issue number 1. The cover is drawn by me, so you have the original art here, and it comes with a coin also with my artwork on the coin.
Oh wow!
So nice. You will get a coin and a comic and our eternal gratitude.
Yes.
Maybe I'll throw something extra in the box too. Who knows? I've got a lot of toy shit lying around here. So.
But just be
always
prepared
looking to get rid of things.
Yeah, just be prepared.
And he's got a lot of Darth Moocher's toys, so you could throw one of them shits.
That's,
in the box
yeah. The ones he hasn't.
You got that. No, you know what I'll do? I'll even throw in a 3 3/4 inch Captain Enoch. I have an extra one, so I'll do a 3 3/4 inch Captain Enoch to this particular.
Didn't he write a book, like the Book of Enoch or something?
Something like that.
Is that
no, he was the coolest stormtrooper.
He was.
Yes. The special stormtrooper. Yeah, we'll do that trivia. It's just in a few seconds here. My last tidbit on the Comic-Con thing, and I think it would have worked maybe leading up to it. I don't know if it'll work now, but I believe that this should have been a split Comic-Con, a summer one and a winter one, or something like that, where you have the summer Comic-Con in San Diego and you have the winter one and you say Texas, right? Let's just put something like that.
No.
I know, well, maybe not winter because of travel stuff, but somewhere where it's a good distance apart. And because of it was getting so big, it's like, all right, why don't you just split it in two then and just break it up? It's almost like Disney Florida, Disney Anaheim, right? East and West, something like that, where you have maybe a comic, like I said, New York Comic-Con should have been the international there at that point, and then you have it here. That was something I was thinking of a long time ago. It's like, because it get way too big for everybody to enjoy, so split it and split coasts. Maybe that would take some pressure. But again, city of San Diego might be like, nope, more money. Like they might try to stop it.
At the same time, you've got like Emerald City Comic-Con, you've got New York Comic-Con, you've got LA, you've got WonderCon, you've got there is one in Texas too. So I mean, you've got all sorts of conventions all over.
It's just like what Mad Logic's saying. Yeah, it's a conundrum. You remove the con from the area, what fills the void? Do we get a new Comic-Con? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's when Disney sucks. Swoops in and be like, all right, we're putting,
Now, the big component of if there is a move to a bigger city, the one aspect it works well for the vendors, because the San Diego Comic-Con convention center only has so much capacity. And so, like, if you're a small vendor and especially a first-time vendor, it's very hard to get on that waiting list and get in. So it would probably be a little bit more in the benefit of just getting more vendors, more smaller vendors, but first-time vendors, if they were in a Vegas or Los Angeles. So that way, like, if there's a new publisher that comes out, they're gonna give him booth instead of the guys who's been there for 20 years. So that would probably make it a little bit more interesting, because I know a lot of publishers, a lot of vendors that just can't get in.
I wonder if they have this kind of roundtable talk in their thing too, or is it just like, all right, look, we'll just wait till next year and do this to keep business as usual? Do they have these kind of? I always I want to be there in these rooms, right, to see if they have these kind of discussions too. Because sometimes out of sight, out of mind, it makes people anxious about like, well, damn it, I can't. Fear of missing out is like so big these days. And all right, so. Guys in the chat, let's do our trivia contest. So the first two people who gets this answer right, and again, I can't tell if you're going to use Google or not. I don't know. I can't see. But the first two that are going to type in the exact date, not just the year. The year. I'm looking for a year here. And you will win this. Yeah, Scott.
The first person that wins gets the Captain Enoch figure, which is right here.
There you go.
Along with the comic book. Second person to come up with the answer gets the comic book and something else. So just brace yourself.
Nice. And again, we'll figure this out how to get things to you. We know some of the guys in the chat here too. So since we're going to be transitioning over to what Comic-Con has given us for our Star Wars toys, what year did Kenner stop producing Star Wars toys, figures in general? What year? And I'll let you guys go for that. Again, the first two, I just need a year. I don't need a time or a month. Just what year did Kenner stop producing Star Wars altogether and thrust us into the dark times where we had nothing? It was so nothing. No one watches Artie with an 87. No, you are a little bit off. So close.
More, we waiting for a bunch of people to throw answers in before we tell anyone?
Yeah. I'm just waiting until it's just. I'm gonna go until we have two winners.
Dang, Matt Logic is like this. Yeah, like, is that AD or is that like AD or like?
Yeah, in 188. No, don't.
I don't even know.
It's BBY. You know.
Yeah. Kenner is vintage, but I don't know.
Yeah, wow,
exactly. 88. No. Again, we're gonna kind of do this talking and let those anybody who's in there to let me know the date that Kenner stopped producing Star Wars figures, and you get to win great prizes from the Sarlacc Digest.
Oh,
so
thanks.
So again, Comic-Con is no stranger to exclusives and live streams and all that stuff. And of course, we're being a Star Wars toy show. Star Wars had their live stream just a couple hours ago, like at 3 o'clock or something like that. And it was actually kind of cool. And they had a lot to reveal, a lot. The two, I don't know if this is Comic-Con exclusive, right? These two here, I know we've got the Darth Maul Comic-Con exclusive. Oh yeah,
yep.
They introduced. So Monday, I think Monday we'll be able to get this on Pulse if you haven't got there in person in hand. The Darth Maul with Speeder. The HasCon was announced as far as their exclusive, which is going to be in a couple months. I think September. I'm not sure. But that's going to be the Stap with, the droid, which is great because on our Monday show, we were talking about how Black Series is going to start, or the rumor is they're going to start producing smaller vehicles again. Like it's almost like they're okay, guys, it's been enough time. Let's start producing some things that people want, not just like repackaging and rehashes and stuff, which is with those two examples, I am absolutely thrilled with so far.
Crooked Smile. Richard wins.
So here you guys are in the chat. Richard wins one with 1985. So we have one more to give away. I don't know what year did Kenner stop producing Star Wars figures. And Chet
Maddox
nailed it. I waited for a long time. I waited for a long time for that.
That's mind blowing to me. 85. I would have
they couldn't keep up with it because it was like they
ran out of figures.
They ran out of figures. They didn't do anything. But they started in 77, right? So in 77 to 85, they did like 100 million toys or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Star Wars died off really fast right after Return because there was no future Star Wars, so it died off really fast, and we went on to GI Joes and He-Mans, all that stuff, and propelled that. So the toys died off, and then we got nothing for a long, long time.
We got Bendums, and we got cool little brass, keychains.
Characters. We did get Bendums.
But for a second question, though, we should say, when did Kenner start producing Star Wars figures again?
Oh,
because I was going to say,
Force 2
was Power of the Force.
Power of the Force was Kenner. Yeah. Power of the Force 2 was Kenner before the Hasbro buyout. So when did Power of the Force 2 kick off?
There you go. So Crooked Smiles wins the first one. 1985 was when Kenner stopped. But
no one watches Artie.
There we go, Artie.
Yeah, there it is, 95.
There you
95 was the Power of the Force launch. Absolutely. The muscle, it was known as the muscle era, right?
Somebody's watching Arnie now. What are you talking
about? Did Kenner lose the license in 85, and who got it? Or was it just no one produced Star Wars figures?
They were bought by Hasbro.
Yeah, that's right.
They were bought by Hasbro in the 90s, though. They weren't bought by Hasbro in the 80s. They just stopped producing.
in 95 when it came out, Hasbro had bought Kenner and reproduced the Power of the Force 2 line with the Kenner logo it was a Hasbro company, parent company at that point. And then sometime in the prequels, I think they just dropped Kenner altogether. So it's just like, oh, we're Hasbro now.
Yeah. Mando, Mike, and I, we used to work in service merchandise together. So we would actually pull the cases off the conveyor belts and just start buying the figures left and right. We got first dibs on everything.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys let me ask the Shadow Nose guys. Do you guys collect Black Series or Star Wars, like a lot of it, or just kind of pick and choose?
Pick and choose.
Okay.
I pick and choose on Black Series, but I think I've told you guys I also have like a bunch of Kenner vintage Star Wars that I don't want anymore. So I have.
We're supposed to talk.
Yeah, you guys are. I don't. There's a period of time where I just didn't collect anything, and what took place for me for like that version of toys or things like that was Mask by Kenner.
Gotcha.
So that's where a lot of my collection went to.
I got a complete collection of that.
Yeah, I have the whole first run and some from the second one, but I never got into like the racing and all that other. It's like
split seconds in the racing series and all that. Yeah.
But I do love those toys though. But I have like a wall full of vintage Star Wars that I don't do anything with. I have an Imperial TIE Fighter. I sent Mr. Brentley my Jedi Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Actually, I only just got my first 2 black figures, both presents. I got a Han Solo from Shadow and a Chewbacca from Rad.
Nice.
And so, they
go
together.
They belong together. I got rid of the Han, and Chewie was here, and he was and so I sent him where Han was, as we should.
It always starts with one. Yeah. No one knows already. Get a hold of us or we'll try to get a hold of you through our Facebook Messenger. Go to Facebook and type in Sarlacc Digest and message us, and we'll get that prize out to you. And we will see Crooked Smiles soon. We will see you soon. And or Scott knows how to get a hold of you, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And see you.
I got Richard.
So real fast, I'm going to go into what the live stream kind of did at Comic-Con today. So vintage collection, we didn't get into we didn't pull the pictures for what was released and what's going to be available tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. They're going out for pre-orders. There's a whole slew of things going on pre-orders, and then they did a pipeline. So for vintage collection pipeline, Scott, go ahead.
Okay. So we've got a couple of figures that we don't really need for the Acolyte, so we'll just move right over them
because they had to.
Kid bashing.
Yeah. But we've got a cool Obi-Wan Kenobi, kind of the Nomad Obi-Wan coming out. That's awesome. From Andor, we've got, what the hell's her name again? It's
Dedra.
Dedra, thank you.
Dedra,
yeah. Awesome character. Can't wait to get that figure. And then from Ahsoka, we finally are getting Baylan and Shin, as well as a Phase 1 clone and the what is that? The Mandalorian Death Trooper? Or it's not the Death Trooper, it's the Loyalist.
It's the Maul. It was the Maul
Trooper.
Yeah.
Which we've already had that, so I don't know what the difference is going to be between them. Is it a different type of?
Is it a commander? It's not.
It's not even the one with the Vizsla with the orange
yellow. Yeah,
visor, it's what's going on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be. I don't know. It's funny. Baylan Shin's brand new to vintage collection, but we have Black Series has 2 versions of it already. Just a difference of cloth good.
And something like that. Why wouldn't you wait for the new actor that's going to be replacing him and make the figure of that guy?
Oh no, I need
offense, but
I need that version. Ray Stevenson to me was
he was good.
He was the best thing I thought in that show.
It's probably almost like if they didn't do it, then you watch the tidal wave of people saying, "How dare you not produce a Ray Stevenson's figure?" For vintage.
Let's talk really quick though about the fact that we are getting Indara and Yord, right? Where the hell is the Master or the Stranger or Kamir or whatever the hell his name is? Why are we not getting that character yet, right? I mean, all the characters in the
I still say Hazcon. Hazcon, I'm sure will,
And it's
the one with the cool helmet.
Like, why I think we're getting. Here's my prediction.
Okay.
Hazcon is going to have a Stranger and Plagueis tooth pack. That'd be amazing.
Cool. That'd be really cool.
That would be amazing.
So now, are they calling the Hazcon now? Are they not calling it the 1027 event?
No, that's different, right?
So they're going to because I know once they had normally their 1027 event that took place like end of October or something. So
maybe it is. No, I think honestly, I think it's two separate things. I think the 1027 because Hazcon is like this whole paneled event. It's almost like their mini Comic-Con, and 2027 was a extended hour live stream that went to like their anniversary, and they did do some things, if I remember correctly.
They're going to be gouging us all into.
Yes, they are. Like what when we get into like the GI Joe talk and everything. Remember they promised, hey, we're going to slow down.
Yeah.
No way.
Hey, slow down.
Where are the space whales, or what was it? The
Purgles.
Yeah. They what? Like, come on.
I agree. Man, like,
tempt me with a good time,
right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. We have this thing all the time. It's like, guys, there's
I need
a
a Purgle
checklist
to fly next to my.
Yeah, but do they have to make one big enough that fits inside its mouth?
They will. You can HasLab it.
HasLab Purgle. Yeah,
they can HasLab it. I'm sure that would sell.
My God. Well, let's switch over to Black Series, my bread and butter, and I am completely thrilled with what we're getting. We've got a new Andor. We've got Daedra coming. Ahsoka the White, which is my favorite. I even have a hot toys of her coming in. Rosario Dawson's like one of my favorite actresses ever. So, yeah. And then, of course, we got the IG-11 with Grogu. That was going to be so cool. Deluxe figure. And I want to say these are coming Monday. Oh, no, they're fall. They're coming to fall. So this was announced.
Pre-order on Monday?
I don't know if these are pre-order. I know there are pre-orders coming Monday. Or I'm sorry, tomorrow, not Monday. And I can't remember which ones, but look out for it. Speaking of the Acolyte, we've got Basil and Vernestra, everybody's two favorite characters. These two I know are pre-ordered tomorrow. They will be. And then of course we got the Commandos from Mandalorian season 3, which is a great looking figure, army builder. I love it. If you guys pay attention down to the pipeline at the bottom there, this is what I'm so excited for. Black Series. I think that this is a great move for them. Of course,
hell yeah.
Kel Naka. Okay, we can skip that one. We got, but it's a Wookiee. I don't care. And Moff Gideon in his armor and his Praetorian Guard. Those two are an absolute must. Going with the Ahsoka, of course, we got the Anakin. Was it the Clone Wars Anakin? Great. We have one, and that one's awful, right? Scott, the Clone Wars Anakin that we have with
it was terrible.
They're horrible. Yeah. So this is a proper, gotta be, Hayden Christensen doing that. So,
man,
of course,
yeah. That is that. Oh wow. That is.
We're getting there.
That Moff Gideon figure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is fire.
Yeah. So the Moff Gideon with the armor. And the Praetorian Guard, those two are those are going to be awesome. I can't remember the names, but I think there's a Rex, Ahsoka Rex there.
Yep, it's the Phase 1 Rex.
Yes, and Coyote Mundy's commander, episode 3. I can't remember his name. I don't know what that droid is. I forgot.
It's a clone commando. It's a commando droid.
Thank you.
Yep.
You could tell I'm kind of over the Clone Wars stuff. But everybody's favorite, except for Scott's, Prince Shizor from Shadows of the Empire down there. That is a huge talk, and I think that might segue into one of our Wednesday Sarlacc Digest shows of that character being produced. I don't think it's just a fan favorite. I don't think it's by accident. So we'll see. So if everybody doesn't know, Prince Shizor back in 95, 6. What was this, Scott? It was kind of around that.
It was 97, 98. Yeah.
They did a whole multimedia wave called Shadows of the Empire, which takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. They did a comic 6-part comic. Yeah, okay, 96. A full novel, a soundtrack, and a full line of figures that went with it. It was like this huge media thing, and a video game that went with it, and it was amazing. And Prince Shizor has been a fan favorite for a long time, and just recently in the comics, they actually like confirmed that character and that race in the comic. So I'm waiting for him to make a huge appearance because he's awesome. I don't care.
What you need to know is he's a hoe. He's got pheromones.
Yeah.
It's just whatever.
No one watches. Let's see. No one watches Artie wants to go down that road. On the let's see, where is he?
Oh,
where is Basil? Oh, he comes with Pip. It looks like he comes with Pip and a visor. Yeah, cool. It's funny. I think Chris told me
$25 figure.
Yeah. Well.
Wow.
That's nothing new. What Chris told me, if I get it, he's gonna kick me in the balls. So he hates that character. So.
It was a dumb character in that show. I have to say,
ended up being right
because it did stuff for no reason. Like, and it would just it's like, oh, you know what? We should stop the ship for some reason now and let some people go. It's fine.
I thought I missed something. I was like, did I miss something, or that was pointless? And then so I don't know. Maybe they had to really But Scott's right. Take all those Acolyte figures out. We'll just give us the Stranger. That's going to sell. You'll sell out of it. You're going to be hard pressed to find it because
who's going to buy those?
Stranger.
Yeah. Acolyte. I'm waiting till they go on sale, and and I don't even know if I'll pay $7 for them. You know,
wow.
I didn't mind the show, and I don't know, man. It's just not sitting right to me to buy to support it that way.
I've got the Master Soul, and the Jackie figures. Those two figures are really cool, and I want the Stranger to go against them, and after that, I'm good. Yeah. Unless you've got a Darth Plagueis coming.
Yeah. Well, only if we get a season 2, right? So, no. Sorry, I thought Pip was pretty cool. I know, my bad. No, you're good, man. It's all good. So that was the Star Wars news as far as their toys are live streams today, and that was pretty cool. And I do feel like the Black Series is pivoting a little bit more to the positive side. You know what I mean? To give us some characters that. Okay, all right. We get there, and like I said, we're still clamoring for aliens and droids, and I don't think that drum is ever going to stop beating. Until they give us a background of stuff. But we'll see. The Andor stuff is kind of interesting that they're continuing Andor stuff. That makes me happy because it's like they're paying attention to all the stuff that they have, and they're continuing to grow on those lines. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I did pull. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alan.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was going to say I did pull a couple of images from Yak Face's Instagram feed of some of the vintage collection stuff.
Oh, go for it. Go for it. Yeah,
we do have the Armorer's Forge coming out.
That looks great.
Place that with the carded armor figure. That's
and I believe awesome. This is tomorrow, Scott. I believe.
Yeah. Is it? Well, I'm about to go a little broker. And then we've got the Cobb Vanth figure. Can't wait for that. Yeah. That's amazing. And then, of course, we've got the Mandalorian with the blurg.
They could do that with Black Series. Come on.
Yeah, easy. Absolutely.
They could.
Absolutely.
Now, when I was watching the live stream, they said that actually that Mando figure can fit into the Razor's Crest.
Yes.
And when they initially designed that, they did it with that in scale. And I thought, all right, now that's pretty smart.
There's
down the road thinking from the Hasbro Star Wars team.
There's a point that they're taking from the Classified team, right?
Yes.
Classified team made it a point way back in when the His Tank was announced, saying we're future proofing this, meaning we're gonna make this so anything we make in the future will fit, interact, doing whatever. And again, and when they said that today about the blurg being that could fit into and that was on purpose, I'm like, all right, maybe they, this is the same company, they're down the hall. Maybe they could take some pointers on what's working, what's not working, and start to blur the lines a little bit and start to give us that kind of energy and that kind of thought process moving forward. Because that was a really cool point to make, and I'm glad that they actually made that point. I've never heard that from the Star Wars team at all, ever. You know what I mean? So that makes me feel a lot better on the direction, because I think I said this in the Monday show too. Was like I was getting nervous about Black Series in general. I think Vintage Collection, that's the staple. That's going to be your, that is never going away. But like the Black Series has had a potential of like, all right, pull it and do something else, or and that was scary to me. I don't want to do something else. You know what I mean? Like, just make it better. Yeah.
So do you think this is that course correcting that we're finally starting to see the results of whenever Steve Evans decided to come back online?
If that's eventually, Scott, we're going to see that correlation, because the only change was him coming back. And so eventually you're going to see the where he puts his input into it. And remember, he's the guy that came out and did a 5-minute live stream on his channel saying, look, there's a balance that we need to figure out in the Star Wars teams, meaning new collectors, old collectors, new figures, old figures, and bring it all up at the same level, instead of just like, here's repackaging, and then forget the older figures, or go so far in advance that new guys can't come in and do this either.
Or does Hasbro just say, hey, let's just kickstart and just start doing all the vintage stuff again under the Kenner brand and just bring Kenner back?
Yeah, right. I mean, they absolutely could do that.
If you think about what the rise is in like toy collecting, yes, you have a bunch of people that are currently collecting. It's hard to beat Marvel Legends. It's hard to beat the Star Wars Black Series, but you have a lot of people, and we see this with other toys, that are really trying to buy those old school toys. And Kenner has the best blueprint for that type of toy, because they did it with Star Wars and Mask and Batman and everything else, right? So I think there's something there. If Hasbro said, you know what, let's just take all of this and just bring back Kenner, and just have that be an arm of Hasbro, so we can focus on Black Series and Hasbro. You can focus on vintage and everything else in Kenner, and I guarantee you the Kenner side of the business would start bringing in more money than Hasbro.
That'd be great.
I like it, and I've always said that the teams need to separate at some point too.
Yes.
But one thing I am also noticing from the pipeline reveals, plus the reveals of the figures that are already in production, and seeing what I'm seeing on Yak Face's Instagram right now, is I'm starting to see a Black Series figure release coupled with the Vintage Collection version at the same time.
Like Daedra, right? Both of them.
Like Daedra.
Yeah.
Ahsoka the White. Ahsoka the White is the same thing. So is Thrawn. We're getting the Ahsoka version of Thrawn at the same time. So I think that's smart. You can either buy it in 6-inch or look 2 pegs over and see it in 3/4.
Well, you know what's crazy about that? I went this has nothing to do with Star Wars, but it's for reference. I went to Target today because there was a release of McFarlane released like Mr. Bloom from Batman, but it was in another pack, and I went to go get it, and then I realized it was $70, so I left it at Target. But in that same area, they had all of the like McFarlane figures, but then next to the McFarlane figures, they had Bane in 3¼ inch size next to regular size regular size Bane. And I was like, you know what? This size is coming back, because it is a very important size in getting kids pumped on toy collecting.
Yeah, the Super 7's doing it with the O-rings coming back. You got the
as long as
I'm so stoked about
but as long as Super 7 doesn't do it, we'll be better off, because they want to charge like $90.
Well, that's the thing too, right?
Yeah,
that's way out of the league.
I hope they do well on the O-ring stuff. I really do. But the problem is that like if you just had Hasbro like break off and do Kenner, and then they could put whatever else under there, you wouldn't have to pay. Super 7 wouldn't have to pay for licensing, so it could drop the prices. So
right.
I'm a little weird about it, but
100%. All right, guys, we are at the point of this podcast to present to you guys to move over to the Shadow Nose Network for their Pixel Plastic and Ink. We're going to do part 2 in here. The same crew over there, so we're winding down here, and as soon as we sign off here, everybody in the pit, jump over there, and we're going to continue this conversation, because we want to talk classified, and we got to talk Marvel Legends, and we got to talk about more Comic-Con and everything else. So let's go ahead and wind this down, and I'm just going to present this as I back the Raptor, or the Rattler. Sorry, the Rattler. And I know
you don't even know what the hell you backed.
I backed something. I spent $320 on something today.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Most definitely had to. In fact, before, I think I was in the queue just as it started, because I had all kind of people hitting me up like, the rat list, bro. You don't need to tell me. I've got the computer ready. All the information put in under the new Hasbro Post information, because they changed up websites before this. So I'm good. Don't worry, it's gonna be there. And then the minute I hit it in, it was the strangest thing. I had already saw like 800 people had already purchased it. I was like, hot dog, this is going like hotcakes, man.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Funded in about 24 hours, and it's great. Classified is killing it right now. So thank you guys for joining us over at the Tashi Station at the Toy Chest. We're going to continue this conversation because that's awesome. We could probably go hours and hours and hours, but this is a mega crossover section. So right now we're going to say our goodbyes, but then give us like 30 seconds. We're going to pop over there and you're going to be treated to probably the most. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but it's probably going to be the most.
It's the best thing you've never seen.
The best thing I have never seen yet. I am actually really anxious to see it. It's going to be the history of the Comic-Con, of San Diego Comic-Con. And so that's going to give you a little teaser to get some coffee. And for the next hour, it's on the Shadow Nose guys. And we're going to do this again. And I love it. So give us, 30 seconds, on a minute and 2 minutes, and then we'll be over there. So everybody in here, click that link. And I hope it works. So we'll have to test that just to make sure it works. If that's the link to that chat, to that
it works.
Okay,
there you go.
Everybody, copy and paste that. Go over there. We're signing out from here for everybody. For Sarlacc Digest, Wednesdays, of course, you're going to do Star Wars proper. We're going to talk about everything Star Wars, from the Acolyte shows to Skeleton Crew to rumors and all these things. Andor 2 might be making a sooner appearance. Who knows? We'll have to see. There's a lot of stuff going in the Star Wars fish tank right now. But for today's toy show, it's all about Comic-Con. It's all about the exclusives. All about pre-orders. There's more coming tomorrow at 2 p.m. So mark your calendars. More pre-orders. I don't know. I need to go DoorDash. Yeah, I need to go DoorDash for a while. So. But
OnlyFans, starting our OnlyFans.
Yeah, I mean,
on it.
Yeah, I heard
it's just gonna be me in the toy room. That's it.
I heard dad bods are in. We're gonna put that to the test. So, all right, guys, everybody in chat, make sure you click on that because we got more to talk about. We are not done yet. Thank you, everybody. So, with that, Scott,
keep it nerdy, everybody. See you in a minute.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.